Well, hi, and welcome to another LRCC Soundbite. This week, I've got another story about the time when Jesus first met his disciples on Easter Day, the day that he rose from the dead. The disciples, they're all locked away in a room. They're not really sure what to think. They've started hearing some stories, but they've no proof of whether Jesus is alive or not, or what's going on. Remember I said the doors were locked? Well, suddenly, there's Jesus standing there with them. He's not come through the door. Just one moment he wasn't there, and the next he is. Needless to say, the disciples aren't quite sure what's going on. People don't just appear in rooms, but maybe ghosts do. So what is this that they can see? Who is this that they see? Well, this figure, Jesus, he can tell they're struggling, so he tells them to come and touch his hands. Feel that they're solid. More than that, feel where the scars are from his crucifixion, where nails were hammered through them. Okay, so they figure out that ghosts aren't usually solid, but Jesus decides that seeing and touching maybe isn't enough, so he goes another step. He wants them to experience something that only real people do. So he asks, have you got something to eat? So they find some grilled fish, and he enjoys eating it with them. Now they're convinced. They've seen, they've touched, and they've experienced. So Jesus starts to explain everything that he'd already told them about before he died, that he would be killed and 3 days later would come back to life again. He tells them that soon they're going to be starting a really big job. They're going to go and tell everyone about him and his message. They're going to start in Jerusalem, but ultimately go all over the world. So let's back up and think about the disciples. They've been travelling with Jesus for about 3 years at this point. They've seen Jesus perform miracle after miracle. They've seen him produce the most amazing wine out of water. He's fed thousands of people with only a few loaves of bread and a couple of fish. He's healed sick people, not just from a cold, but people who have been unable to walk who can now run around. People who were born blind who can now see. People who've contracted diseases like leprosy that are now cured. He even raised dead people back to life. They've understood and accepted that he is going to be the saviour for the world, the Messiah. He taught them about the ancient prophecies in their scriptures, about how they related to him and even what his mission was. Quite simply, to live perfectly, die as a sacrifice and then rise back to life, never to die again, so that everyone who believes in him will be able to have a real, living relationship with God. There's nothing for us to do except believe, and that's all that he asks the disciples to do. And you know what? That's all he asks of us as well. The disciples, they took some time to get it. I think, maybe they were so close to Jesus and the whole situation that they found it all a bit overwhelming. Jesus gave them the opportunity to see him, to touch him, to experience being with him. I'm so glad that they did get it in the end, because otherwise they wouldn't have gone out on that job and spread the message, and then we would never have heard it. Whilst we might not see Jesus, touch Jesus, or even experience him in the same way today, God will still make himself known to you in a very real way if you ask. Being a Christian isn't about following rules. It's not about signing a contract or finding academic proof. It was then, and today still is, about a relationship, even deeper than the closest friend you can think of. I hope you have a great week. God bless, and I'll see you next time.